Welcome, bienvenue to Maison Goldblum. My name is Emily Goldblum. I will be guiding you through a class that is based in simple, fluid, and balletic movements. I call this technique intuitive stretch fitness. Listen to your body and lean into what your individual needs are for the day. I hope you have a great class. Please take a seat with your legs crossed, and I want you to go ahead and hold onto your knees as you gently press your shoulders back and lift your sternum chest up. You're circling your chest 4 times to the right and 4 times to your left. You can soften those ribs back down. Think of undulating your chest and upper back in a circular body wave motion. And now reach your hands up above your head as you hold onto your wrist or your hand to lift and lengthen your spine with 3 deep breaths. Grip your left wrist as you hinge your torso over to your right 4 times. Really stretching that entire left side. Then you'll place your right palm down onto the floor as you bend and straighten your right elbow 8 times. Continuing to stretch your body to the right, and think of rotating your left shoulder toward the back of the room and slightly tilt your head to look up. Now lift your bottom right arm off the ground and hold it out to the side to come back up to neutral. From here, change your grip to holding onto your right wrist as you hinge over to your left, stretching your entire lateral left side for 4. Place your left palm down as you bend and straighten your left elbow to continue to twist open your right shoulder and gently tilt your head up. Really engage those lower abdominal muscles and obliques to hold both arms straight out to your left. Hold and lift to come back to neutral. Circle the arms back to place your hands behind your bottom with your fingertips facing forward. Pressing your hips up, lift your pelvic girdle up off the floor 4 times. This will help to elongate your hip flexors and open up your shoulders for better posture. Now, I want you to come back down to sitting and extend your legs straight in front of you. If you're having trouble sitting with your legs fully straight in front of you, use a block or blankets to raise your bottom to sit with a straight spine and straight legs. I will quickly demonstrate this 2-part exercise before we begin together while you gather your props. I call these straight leg raises from sitting. We'll be here for 15 seconds each. You're going to raise your right leg off the ground and lower it down with control. Ready? Let's begin. Lifting your leg nice and straight for 15 seconds. Pressing the navel in, extending your spine long. And now you're going to bend and place the foot in front of you and then bring it back to a straight leg and lower it down. This really targets deep within your hip flexors and strengthens your quads while continually working on lengthening the back of your leg, stretching that hamstring. You're almost there. Keep going. Now we're going to our left side. Left leg is lifting off of the ground, nice and straight, plugging that left hip back as you raise it. Your hands can be on the floor or out to the side. Now we're bending our knee and placing the foot flat on the floor before we extend it back straight out with control. You've got this. Keep pushing through. Breathe. Next, I want you to come to a narrow straddle split. Realign your frontal hip points on a diagonal plane to somewhat face your right leg. Frame your right leg and lift that leg straight up with a slightly turned out hip. You're really engaging your core. And now you're bending your knee in towards the opposite leg. Lift it off the ground, bend it, turn the hip out, and lower it back down. You're almost there. Now to your other side. Realign your hips to face your left leg and lifting that leg, working those quads, turning that hip out, squeezing the outer hip, pressing and lifting up. Bend your knee to turn that hip out and glide your foot towards your opposite leg. This is such a great exercise to hone in on your lowest abdominal and hip flexors. Press those hips now all the way up with a nice straight leg. I like to flex my feet as I come down and then pressing those hips and squeezing my glutes up toward the sky. And at the end, you're going to hold in this position and take a deep breath in. Hold and breathe and lower back down. Now we're going to prepare ourselves to transition into a totally new move. Bend your knees and lift your bottom up to crawl your hands forward and come onto all fours. We're going to get into our 3 cat-cows. You're going to round your back and really think of pressing the shoulder blades out and widen your collarbone as you look up. Breathe, and now we're lifting your right leg back and bending it as you look up to driving your knee in towards your chest. These I like to call my 3-legged cat-cows with leg extensions. You're really squeezing those glutes as you extend your leg back, pressing the palms of your hands into the floor to lift your shoulders away from relaxing into your shoulder socket. Keep breathing, extend that leg back, and driving the knee in as you round the back. Now you're going to open those hips, turn them out, and you're going to bend your knee. And this is a variation where I'm going to show you on your forearm. If you're having any wrist pain, come down onto your forearm. We're going to start with bent knees and then with a straight knee. Let's begin. Bend the knee and lift it in toward your rounded off elbow. Your elbow is reaching toward your knee and your knee is reaching toward your elbow. We're here for 15 seconds. Then moving on, we're going to extend that leg nice and straight and lift it up toward your arm with a straight leg. With your right leg nice and extended out to the side, keep turning those hips out. Think of wrapping that outer hip around your back thigh. Now you're going to circle that arm all the way back. Follow your arm with your head and eyes. and breathe into your chest, really opening up that upper back. I'm going to adjust myself to face camera here for this next exercise, but we're continuing to work on the same right leg. Take your right leg and place it slightly in front of your hips, but off to the side. And you're going to bend that knee for my extended knee lunges, placing the hand in front of your right knee down toward your ankle. You can either put it down towards your ankle, or another option is just placing both hands at your hips. Lowering down, looking up, tilting that head up and coming back. Breathe, straighten and bend. Now you're going to take a stretch here, circling that arm all the way back, really opening up that chest and opening up your upper back. Now we're going to transition up into your high lunge. Curl those toes under, lift the hips up, and bring your torso up to neutral. Taking that back leg, bending the knee, and just hovering it off of the ground as you bend it for 15. Keeping your front knee in line with your ankle. Check in periodically with your ribs. Draw them back in if they're sticking out. Keep your frontal hip points facing forward. And now dive down and flex that foot for a little love in that calf. Switching legs in our three-legged cat-cows. Extend the leg back as you squeeze that glute. Left leg extends back and bends in towards your chest. Widen your collarbone when you're looking up and keep your shoulders in line with your wrists. Squeeze that glute and lift that leg. Really driving the knee into your chest as you round that back. Now you're going to open up those hips to the side. And if you're staying up on your hand, that's great. If not, come down onto your forearm if you have pain in your wrists. And just like on the other side, we're starting with a bent knee. Knee to elbow, elbow to knee. Really squeezing that lateral side as you bring the knee in towards your elbow. Keeping that core engaged. Reach that rounded elbow and now extend it and lift a straight leg with a straight arm together. We're here for 15 seconds. Lift and lower. Press the navel in. Lengthen that spine. Now breathe in to circle your arm around to the back as you exhale and expand your chest up toward the sky for 5 deep breaths. Arch and then contract and lift up. Now come to sitting tall on both knees. Adjust your left leg to bring it out to the side and align it slightly in front of your hips. Bend your left leg to go into my extended knee lunges as you glide your arm in front of your leg to reach toward the floor, as your right arm reaches over your head to give yourself a nice side lateral stretch. We're here for 15 to 20 seconds. Keeping your chest open, your abdominals engaged. As you lift back up to twist slightly, And if you're looking to target opening your hips more and stretching your back hip flexor, place your hands on your hips and use the weight of your body to press down into your left hamstring. Now circle back for a nice upper back opener and 5 deep breaths. Now we're going to transition to turn your body toward your left leg and curl those toes under to lift up and come into a high lunge. Hands are above head and you're bending your back right leg, just bringing the knee hovering down on top of the floor, keeping your front knee in line with that ankle. You can do it. Keep going. Stay with me. We're transitioning into our next part. Now you're going to switch your legs, keeping your left leg in front. And now you can use some blocks to bring the floor up to you as you stretch your hamstring. You're bending those elbows and straightening them. You can use a chair as well. Bend that knee to crawl those arms forward, and also you can place your hands on blocks or a chair here in your standing leg split to lower and lift that leg, really squeezing the back of your leg, the outer hip, the glute, and stay into your pulses and pulse as you squeeze. Now you're going to lift into your fingertips, bend that knee hard to come up. And again, using the wall or a chair for balance, you're going to bend the knee, bringing the toes back towards your standing leg ankle. 8 times in front, 8 to the side. And I want you to really think of lengthening the back of your standing leg. Turn those front hips out. And then you're going back. And this is called a coupe in ballet. So you're thinking of beating the leg. It's pressing out with strength and force and power. You're almost there. Stay with me. Now you're lifting that leg. Your right leg is lifting off the floor nice and straight to the side. Now we're going back onto your other side. So you're going to bring your right leg forward and give some love to that hamstring, really bending those elbows to lower the body and lifting out of your spine to extend it with the arms straight. Now you're going to crawl those hands forward to come into standing leg splits. And you're lowering that leg and lifting it up. Pressing your hands down into either blocks or chair to really keep yourself centered and in control as you work your back left leg. Squeeze as you pulse, pulse, pulse for 10. Now bend the knee hard as you lift your body all the way up to come to one leg standing position, and you're extending the front leg as you bend it back down towards your ankle. You're going front 8, side for 8, turning those hips out, wrapping the outer hips back and squeezing those glutes. Now you're beating back, all the way back, straight behind you. Leg bends and straightens from your ankle. And now from here, you're going to press the toes into the floor to lift up with a nice straight left leg, pressing the navel in toward your spine. elongating your back. Now I want you to come to the center of your mat and take your legs wider than your hip distance and turn those toes out, squatting, bending down. You're bending down and lifting the heels to straighten those knees and lift those hips all the way up. We're here for 10 seconds. You're really going to feel this in your quads and legs. This is what we call in ballet the second position, and you're doing a grand plie with your body hinged forward. Now I want you to crawl those hands back to come to standing. And you're going to do the same thing. Use a wall or a chair because balancing is hard. It's challenging all of your smaller muscle groups to keep you and your body in the center. Bend, lift the heels and straighten the legs. Bend, lift the heels to straighten your legs. How low can you lower down with each grand plie? Now you're going to come to the back of your mat and crawl those hands all the way forward to come into a downward facing dog. We're going into what I like to call my down dog body waves. And you really need to draw your ribs in, engage your core as you pull your chest forward into plank and then release your hips toward the floor and look up to finally lift your hips back up to the sky as you rotate your thighs back and in. We're here for 15 seconds. Pull the chest wide in the collarbone, lift the hips, pull forward, engaging in that core, using the core to pull those hips all the way back. Offer some resistance, pulling from your fingertips, keeping those elbows close to your body when you bend them down. Now we're coming into our cool down section. So come down onto your knees and come into a runner's lunge. So place your right leg in front of you, a little bit off center. And we're going into a runner's lunge body waves for 8. Pressing, it's the same concept as what we just did, but in a runner's lunge. Flex the leg as you straighten it back and you pull those hips back. And then you draw the chest forward and come back. Now you're going to lift that back knee off the ground and you're lowering the knee and lifting it. So you're bending it and straightening it. And an option is to come down onto your forearms as you bend and straighten that back knee. Now you're going to rest into this pose for 3 deep breaths. Really getting a stretch in that back left hip flexor. Now come back onto your knees and switch legs. You're going to bring your left leg in front of you, slightly off center, and place your hands on the inside of your leg for a runner's lunge body wave for 8. Pull forward as you extend the leg, pull those hips back. Bend the knee, chest comes forward. Really creating nice space in between each vertebrae in your spine, elongating that spine. Now you're going to bend and straighten that back knee. You can do this on your forearms for a deeper stretch, or you can stay up on the palms of your hands. Lower the knee onto the floor and just take a deeper stretch here for 3 deep breaths. And when you're done, come back down to sitting. Swing your legs in front of you to come laying on your back. Now that you're laying on your back, I want you to extend your legs up to the sky and take your right leg, cross it over your left to let it roll down onto the floor into a simple twist. You can turn your gaze toward your right arm, and if you feel called to it, you can press your left palm of your hand down into those knees onto the floor. Come back to neutral and switch legs. Cross your left leg over and let those legs hinge over to your right side. Gaze over to your left arm and breathe. Getting a nice stretch in that low back. Pressing down into the floor to bring those legs straight back to neutral. Now we're going to come into our half hero pose. Tuck that right ankle back with a bent knee. Adjust your hips and place your body's weight into the center. And then you're going to pulse your left leg. You can either pulse it with a straight leg or a bent knee. And another option here is you can lift your body up onto your forearms for a little less of a stretch in that quad. Breathe. And now we're going to switch and come onto your other side. You're going to bend your left knee and tuck that ankle back behind you. Adjust those hips and lift either with a bent knee or straight knee, pulsing those legs in toward your chest. And you're either up on your forearms or laying down. Now, just gently pull the leg bent in toward your chest. Now you're going to lower that right leg and untuck your left leg and straighten them all the way down to relax, laying on your back. Close your eyes and take a moment of gratitude for this time that you've given yourself. Breathe. And I thank you so much for joining me in class today.